All right, everybody, welcome back to the Family Movie Time podcast. We got a special, wonderful, terrific episode today for you. So sit back, relax, or lay down, enjoy our voices as we pay tribute and explore and talk about the Muppet movie from 1979. This is the first Muppet project to take place in the real world. And this movie is basically an allegory for Jim Henson's rise to fame. A little bit of context. When the film was originally released, the Muppet Show started in 1976. And that was basically the world's most popular TV show at the time. It's estimated about 235 million viewers in 102 countries would tune into the show. So this is the first film based on the Muppet Show. And if you're a Muppet fan, you'll probably already know that the movie was produced between the first and second halves of the Muppet Show's third season. And I'll save my other context trivia for later because we have two guests. We have Leo and Jade, and Jade is a comedian, artist, performer, powerhouse individual. Leo is a designer, artist, illustrator, children's book creator. I know I'm leaving stuff out. I want to thank you both for being on the show. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, Jeff. That was a very warm welcome. And no, that was a perfect introduction. Thank you so much. That was
That was
great.
like both these people have ADHD. They're all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but no, great, thanks.
So I want to give the mic to Jade first. Can you
Oh
talk
God.
about like your connection to the Muppets like as a kid, and then you could bring it back eventually to when you rewatched the movie recently?
Oh man, I think the Muppets. I mean, I'm 31, so I was, they're obviously before my time, but and then I was like a Sesame Street kid, which is like not nearly as cool. No shade against Sesame Street. But I was thinking about the trivia that you said. So that means Miss Piggy wasn't in the first two seasons. She was just, or was she introduced in the movie? No, she was in all the seasons, right?
I think she was in the show, pretty sure.
Okay, so the movie's not like chrono, cause it made it seem like she was like everyone was introduced, but I guess they're making a movie, so they all knew each other already. It's such a weird movie. It's so meta. It's like shows how much I know. See, that was me showing you how much I know about my Muppet trivia. Like I have no idea what the movie even fits into the show. I just but yeah, Muppets. I grew up around them, but not like super into them. But I heard so many great things. I loved Jim Henson. I think he did like what the Dark Crystal too, right? Yeah, which is so great.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so it was great. Um, wait, do I keep going? Do I talk about the movie too? What are we doing?
If
What's the
you
assignment? What's the
if
assignment?
you yeah, if you want to say a little bit about like watching it recently
Yeah.
compared to your memory of seeing it before you saw it over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, when I was young, I think the only because I probably saw it when I was like, God, 9. So I remember, the theme song, the Rainbow Connection. We sung it in choir, and it was all part of childhood. But then, yeah, watching it recently, I guess second impressions. like it's funny that it's just the whole trope of a comedy being able to tackle like violence, drug use, sex, all these innuendos and all these things, but it's like slapstick and it's puppets, so there's a cartoon element, so it's like just taking all these like very serious topics. I mean, cannibalizing Kermit. There's even some anti-Semitism in there. That was like the part where the German scientist is like doing the thing. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna put this little electronic yarmulke on you. It's like, oh God. So yeah, as a 9-year-old, you're not like noticing those things. But
And that was
yeah,
Mel
those,
Brooks. That was Mel Brooks as this like
yeah,
German scientist, right?
yeah, that was him. Yeah.
Would you agree, Leo, that do the Muppets draw from Dada and surrealism?
Oh.
Surrealism. Wow, I haven't studied surrealism in a very long. Man, that was a trick question, man. No, well, I wouldn't say surrealism. I think for me when I think about the Muppets, it's 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 realism, but with sock puppets, or not, they're not sock puppets, but they're puppets. And I think that's what makes it very timeless, I guess is the best word I can say. It's like this movie was 1979, but I felt like if they upgraded the cameras to like that movie still could very well have worked today, in my opinion. Like it's super timeless. I didn't know what I was going to get myself into rewatching it because I told you earlier is that I haven't seen that movie in a very long time. I didn't know what to expect. So I kind of came into watching it this past weekend with just no expectations. The last Muppets movie I did watch was the one with Jason Segel and Amy Adams, which was, I think, like 10 years ago, which I love that one. Like that one's really good. And so I didn't want to go into watching the original one with the same expectations, but I was pleasantly surprised. And what Jade mentioned, like the music, like Rainbow Connection, I love musicals, so like hearing that from the get-go in the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm home. Okay. All right, this is great.
When I watched it, I'll be honest, over the weekend, watched it with my girlfriend, her parents watched it, her uncle. They were all very curious, and it was kind of a spontaneous, screening for all of us. And some of the comments, I wrote them down. It was like they don't make movies like this anymore. Somebody said that. Um, Also, someone said like there was more censorship in the late 70s, early 80s. So,
Mm.
like I guess with that, like, young people were more things were more hidden from their view or on TV or movies. Um, and I felt like what surprised me immediately was like this breaking of the fourth wall. Like in the beginning of the movie, the Muppets are in a screening room getting ready to watch the Muppet movie. So it has this meta, like you said, Jane, meta thing, breaking the fourth wall. You have the heckler guys are already starting to make fun of it even before it starts. Animals, all riled up and anxious to see it. And I love even how when they meet Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, Dr. Teeth reads the screenplay for the movie.
Yeah. Oh, how'd you find us? Oh, right here.
So
Yeah.
it's like I love how it's you know self-referential, and it doesn't shy away from these kind of like jokes that at times are easy and at times they are kind of a stretch, or they're allegories or they're innuendos or metaphors, especially when you have the romantic tension between Miss Piggy and Kermit. There's a lot of
Oh God.
with their, romantic energies.
The subversion of like she saves him and all this, yeah.
And I feel like the Muppets in general, it's like the good distraction if you are ever having a bad day. I feel like you can watch pretty much any of the movies or, of course, the show, and you can get some laughs and at least take you from your troubles for a little while. And Jade mentioned Sesame Street. It is we should probably pay proper tribute. I mean, that is kind of the creative foundation where Jim Henson was experimenting with the puppets, and Kermit, especially, I think, was from Sesame Street. And from that, it became its own show later. But it is, I think, kind of a wonderful connection with the Sesame Street Muppet connection, too.
Yeah. Since we're talking about Sesame Street, oh man, the cameo with Big Bird, like, and I think that's another thing. Like, it was so cool to see. I mean, I I didn't know everyone's name. Like, I know it was like full of like celebrities from the time. I didn't know everyone's name, but I re definitely recognized a lot of their faces. And I was like, oh my gosh, they got all these people to be in this movie. That's incredible. And I think that says a lot about, you know, the time and how well respected Jim Henson was. And, I feel like they wouldn't have said yes and if they, thought it was a silly movie to do. But yeah, seeing Big Bird on that road, I think he was hitchhiking. He was hitchhiking to New York. Oh yeah, to be on Sesame. Like he wanted to try out for Sesame Street and make it big in public television. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think it's also like it's such a Hollywood movie. Like, yeah, it's like it's got all these celebrities. It's got like Pryor and Steve Martin and all this stuff, and it's like it's just it's I don't know. I feel like movies about Hollywood that are made in Hollywood are highly revered all the time because it's like it's very like incestuous. It's like, oh, we love this thing that we made about us, you know. Um, so that's yeah, and I love how the villain is just like he just wants Kermit for his talent so much so that he's just gonna kill him, and it's just like so evil and sinister. I don't know. It's great.
Maybe that's the beauty too. The Muppets are able to explore the darker side of life in a very comical and ridiculous way. But I think if you are an adult watching it, you pick up on those nuances. And one of the previews when I was doing research, I watched the Muppet Treasure Island sing along. I found that, and at the beginning of the tape, there's a preview for Muppet Classic Theater. And you know how they used to do, like, they would tell you, like, so and so reviewed it and gave it 4 stars. One of the reviews was like, this is the only Muppet movie I'll watch without my kids. So it's like, yeah, I think there's something really, if families watch this together, I think there pretty much is something for everybody, regardless of their age.
That's kind of where it differs from Sesame Street too. Like, yeah, it's like it's very Sesame Street's so innocent. I don't know. It's not. I feel like very little of it is for adults, but yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's maybe why Jim Henson was able to figure out a way to have, like, a show just for the Muppets. And I know with this movie, it is kind of an allegory and symbolically about Jim Henson's own road to fame and people, actually understanding what he was going for with the show and like the style of comedy. Um, he wanted to direct it himself, but the executive producer, Lou Grade, and Frank Oz convinced Henson otherwise because of the performing and all the puppet techniques. Henson would be pretty busy doing that stuff. So he was like, okay, I'll let the puppetry consume my time for the movie, and I'll let somebody else direct it. So I do want to mention too that before this movie, if you saw puppets in a film, you would only see like the waist up, whereas this movie you see like their entire body on the screen, and that was like a pretty innovative thing,
Oh yeah.
especially seeing Kermit with legs at
Yeah.
that time.
And let alone riding a bicycle. I think he was riding a bicycle at one point.
Oh yeah, and that was one of the more technically challenging parts of the film too, for Kermit to ride a bike.
Really ahead of its time. I still, I mean, I don't know a lot about special effects, but I have to imagine, like, how the heck did they do
How do you
that?
do green screen without
Yeah.
Premiere? No.
The green frog on top of green screen. How do they
How do
do that?
you how do you ultra key? No.
Yeah.
And even the like the Instagrow pills that Animal somehow gets, and then he, grows to be this giant version of Animal. They did not use a miniature set. Like they actually constructed a gigantic animal head that measured like 60 feet for that scene.
Wow.
Wait, are you joking? Is that true?
Oh, I found that in the
Oh,
trivia.
that's true.
Jim,
Oh,
Jim
wow.
Henson refused to use a normal puppet on a miniature set to
Wow.
accomplish the animal gigantic growing scene.
Wow. That's amazing.
Some dedication, yeah.
What
I
about
impressive.
Leo? What for you, like over the years, did you see the Muppet Show more than the movies growing up, or vice versa?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So growing up, I actually really liked, I don't know if you guys have heard the show Muppet Babies. It was a cartoon. I watched that like every day when I was in kindergarten or yeah, kindergarten, first grade. I would watch that all the time. And it was amazing. So that was actually my first introduction was like an animated version of the Muppets as ba as babies. And then only after that I started seeing, my aunt would get me like VHSs of different Muppet movies, and pretty sure this one was one of them, and that's when I watched it for the first time. And then I know there's like a Christmas special, um, which I've definitely watched more than a few times now. But yeah, that was my experience growing up was the Muppet Babies, and then again when the 2001 with Jason Segel came out, I was pretty excited about it. So I definitely enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I haven't even been following the Muppets. I've been so under a rock. That's so,
I remember watching them with my TV dinners on TV, the Muppet Show as a kid.
What channel was it on the show? Do you
That's a good
remember? Was it
question.
like on was it on public was it also on public access like Sesame Street?
I
I
feel
don't
like it
remember.
wasn't. I don't think it was on a cable because I didn't get cable for a while.
Yeah, same.
I feel like it was on one of the like basic channels, at least for a little bit. Um, yeah, that's the way I remember it at least.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something, Jade?
no, I'm just taking in this childhood that I spent watching The Land Before Time instead.
Hey, Land Before Time is cool too.
I
Yeah.
like those films too. I don't know if I saw every one of them, but I know at least the first three or four I
Oh,
watched.
that's all you need out of first one. Different episode though.
Was there for you, Jade? Is there a certain Muppet that you feel like you usually laugh more, or that you maybe favor more than the other characters?
Hmm. I like Beaker. Yeah, I like Beaker because he don't say much. He just kind of has these little sounds, and it's like I don't know. It's cute. It's adorable. He looks like he could fit in a pocket. He's very portable,
He
and he's
does.
just like a sidekick character, but it's like I don't know. He's meaningful.
Oh yeah. How about you, Leo? Do you have a favorite Muppet character?
Um, I would say my favorite is probably Gonzo and Fozzie. Fozzie's like a close second. Um, I just like how weird Gonzo is. It's just super weird. Even in the Muppet Babies cartoon, like he was my favorite also because he was just so strange. And I was trying to think like, what kind of creature is he? Because Fozzie Bear is a bear, you know. Kermit's a frog. And I'm like, what the? Is he an anteater? What is he? I don't know.
I think it is a mystery. I mean, I think somebody calls Gonzo in the Muppet movie, they call him a turkey.
Turkey.
But then you have Muppets from Space is kind of like his origin story where it
Oh yeah,
implies that he's an
Oh,
alien.
that's right.
so he's an alien.
I remember Muppets in Space. I
Yeah.
feel like I've seen that.
Yeah, I like that part in this film what we watched where they pick up Gonzo on the road, and I think he was talking about he wanted to go to Hollywood also or something, and like, oh, cool, we're headed there. He's like, oh, no, I'm going to the one in India or something.
He,
And what
he wanted to go to Bollywood. Yeah,
Bollywood, yeah, yeah.
India.
And then
Yeah,
he called the normal, the LA Hollywood as, oh, why would you want to do that? That's too easy or something. Sure, Gonzo, it's easy. Sure.
I
I
know
think,
he wanted to go. He wanted to go to Bali because Hollywood was too easy. He's like, I can't. Yeah.
but maybe his logic was that Bollywood makes more movies though each year on average than Hollywood.
That's true.
He
That
felt like he would have a better chance to be in their movies.
could be it. And then what did Fozzie say? He was like, "Oh, we picked up the weirdo."
I think my favorite line in the movie is "Oh, they put a road in the middle of the street." I'm Kermit picked up by the bulldozer.
You get this thing, yeah. Let's talk about that. So you have Kermit, beginning of the movie. He's like leaving the swamp, and it's like
Hmm.
he's like a fish out of water kind of thing, going to the big city. He has no idea what to expect. Um, Jade, was that kind of like for you the first time you went on the comedy stage?
Oh God! Oh, this got so personal so quick. Oh God!
Too much
Um,
pressure.
uh, fish out of water. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I started. I did my first set in high school at a talent show, a Christian talent show, which was hilarious because that's not where my act is now. But yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking. Like I felt bad at it, and like I didn't know what I was doing, and overwhelmed because sometimes I was good at it, so then I was like afraid of the pressure, and then it was just kind of a yeah, getting used to it, and now I've been doing it for a long time, like 15 years, so I'm now I'm just trying to get out of here to go be Kermit again, somewhere else. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was hard too because there's so much anxiety. I mean, something I wanted to bring up that I think is kind of funny is that there's a lot of internet lore with Kermit that goes to a really dark place. And it's just kind of funny how Kermit's this like musician, filmmaker, like main character who's just being fawned over by everyone, and he's watching his family get eaten alive, and he has to make moral decisions about whether to be a sellout or it's just like um yeah, and then yeah, that internet trend of Kermit just doing drugs and so yeah, it's pretty symbolic for sure of my life and not every, but many artists' life. So,
Is it inevitable, like anything that's famous is just eventually going to be co-opted by the internet and the dark or the more like making fun of it is going to come out eventually? Is that just inevitable?
What is it? Rule 42 or what is that? There's a rule on the internet that's like everything. Everything is sexual. It's like a weird like you can type in anything Mickey Mouse and you'll find something dirty on the internet related to that. Um, so yes, according to that rule, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's really immune to internet memes. I think everyone, I think maybe the highest compliment you can get is when you get turned into a meme. I don't know. So, yeah, like Michael Jordan has this famous like crying meme, but he's Michael Jordan. He's like the greatest, athlete ever or whatever, but like he still has a meme. It's incredible. Maybe that's when you know you made it.
You are a part of the like collective unconsciousness or collective consciousness at that
Hmm.
point.
You made it, but you don't make any money off it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Imagine if the Muppet movie was made like in this day and age where they like all become famous and but they don't become rich, they're just famous.
They're just influencers
Yeah, exactly. They just
selling
got views.
supplements.
Yeah.
They got views, yeah, supplements.
How much did that villain in the movie offer Kermit? It was like $500 or something.
Yeah, per app.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think it was 500. Yeah.
$500 in 1979. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, that was a lot back then, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I like 3 times as much now around that, I would
probably.
guess. But it made me think those Instagrow pills, Animal, if the movie was made now, Animal could be like pushing those Instagrow pills. That would be part of his influencer
Oh
personality
God.
Yeah.
media.
Well, it will be made now that we have AI to make it. So,
Well,
uh,
hopefully the AI has a sense of humor, though. I don't know how that's going to work.
Someone's gonna have to train it to be funny first,
Could
but
we
I'm
have
sure.
like an AI that surpasses like Jim Henson's genius or Frank Oz or Jerry Jewell, any of the early like Muppet creators?
no, but you know, it's like I've been reading about AI and filmmaking. It's just like you can have a human write the script and AI just do the whole movie. And it's like when I was watching the Muppet movie the other day for this pod, I was looking at it like I was specifically looking at the circus scene and just like that overhead shot, and I was just like AI could make that completely, and it's terrifying, and it's very sad, actually. It bums me out.
That Rainbow Connection scene has a crowd of like more than 250 Muppet characters. There's basically all the Muppet characters created up to the point in that time appear in
Ah,
that Rainbow Connection scene. 250 of them.
Wait, not in the beginning of the movie when he sings Rainbow Connection. You're talking about in the other.
In
Okay,
the final scene of the movie, the
fine.
last shot of the film.
Yeah, yeah. How many did you say? You said two.
250 Muppet characters.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that was technically done. Like, was there 200 something people puppeteering all of them at the
They
same time?
had, it says 150 puppeteers in a 6 foot deep, 17-foot wide pit.
Hmm.
Basically, was how they did it. And the LA Guild of Puppeteers of America put out a recruiting call for like every puppeteer west of the Colorado Rockies to report for pit duty.
What an honor. Man, that's cool.
damn.
Speaking of like behind the scenes cameos, in a 2004 interview, John Landis, the director, John Landis, revealed that he was a puppeteer for Grover, and Tim Burton was among the puppeteers in the finale. Tim Burton, the
What? I wonder which puppet he was puppeteering. Probably the dark one,
director.
the emo one.
I like. I didn't get to say my favorites earlier. I like Kermit,
Hmm,
Zoot,
Right.
and Dr. Teeth. I like those three.
nice man.
Yeah.
So what
I'm
it? Oh, it's not.
Grover's Grover's the dog, right? I'm such a terrible Muppet knowledge. Yeah. I No, Grover's not the dog. Grover's the blue guy. He wasn't in. No.
Is he the bird? Like the bird, the blue bird kind of character?
The guy with the pointy like mouth beak thing.
No, no, that's not
No?
Grover. It is? No.
Because
Okay.
Rolf is the like
The
piano
dog.
playing dog.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, Grover's the. Okay. No, I looked up. No, he's the blue guy. That's a different one.
I'm
And
looking it
he's
up
in.
now. Let me see. Grover. Oh.
He wasn't in the Muppet movie.
I don't think he's in there. And maybe he's in the
Okay.
crowd shot at the end, but he's not really featured.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And he's from Sesame Street as well.
Oh yeah.
So another one crossed over. They shot the movie in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Lake Sherwood, California. Um,
That's
the
really interesting. Two
Yeah,
places to, like I wonder what about New Mexico brought them there.
probably the roads and just like the
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
landscapes.
say.
Now
The
you
flag.
mentioned Leo, you mentioned Muppet Babies. What were the storylines like? I don't think I saw that show. It was after I had gotten older.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it too, but from what I remember, have you ever seen like the Magic School Bus before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was similar in that way where like, they all were preschoolers or they're all little kids, little baby toddler things, and they would be taken care of by this nanny in this little room, but their imaginations were so wild that like even though they were just stuck in this little room, their imaginations would take them everywhere. So like they would go to outer space, they go to the wild wild west, based off of what they were playing, talking about or amongst themselves, what kind of drama was happening that day at the preschool room. Um, that's what I remember, I think. Yeah.
Cool. So maybe did Rugrats steal from Muppet Babies then, or vice
Oh
versa?
man, I didn't even thought about that. Yeah, that's very possible. There we can say that Rugrats wouldn't be possible without Muppet Babies.
I remember watching Rugrats growing up. That was an interesting.
Yeah.
You saw it too, Jade?
Oh yeah, I was a Rugrats fan.
Reptar, man. Love
Yeah.
Reptar.
Yeah.
There's a line in the Muppet movie that is said in the beginning. Does this movie have socially redeeming qualities? What do you think, Jade? Does it have socially redeeming qualities
Is it?
or quality?
Um. Yeah. For its time, I would think. Um. I don't know. I just think it's a wholesome movie in a lot of ways. I think it definitely teases on some dark themes. Um. But all in all, yeah, it's not smut. And the jokes are very clever. I mean, there's a lot of dad joke humor and just like, yeah, weird wordplay and literal humor and just like it kind of spans the genre of comedy in a lot of ways. Um, I I I have to disagree there. I do think it is a surreal in a lot of ways, but maybe not in the sense of like so much is visually, but in like the meta way of just like movie within a movie, it's like where am I? What's happening? How is this possible? You know. So
Oh, yeah, definitely. You make a great point there. Yeah. I think
yeah.
I was talking more about the visual, but you're completely right. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
thematically and subject matter. The
But I could,
layers of it is pretty surreal.
yeah,
And
I
the way,
could see
the
the
way
visuals so much.
and the way the Muppets are in like the real world too, the way they're interacting with all the people who are doing the cameos and the human
Hmm.
characters.
Yeah.
I mean, Richard Pryor was great. They were able to have him in there. That was awesome.
Yeah. I was like, I'm almost like, you're gonna give a guy that's that huge, just like that little speaking role that's like so wholesome and opposite of him.
I
Oh man.
think Richard Pryor was supposed to have at least another scene, but when he burned himself accidentally, I think it was around the same time, so that prevented him from doing any more scenes.
Oh wait, you cut out right when you said that. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. So I think from my trivia like research about the movie, there were other Richard Pryor scenes planned for the Muppet movie. However, this was during the same time period where he accidentally burned himself.
Oh
So that prevented him from coming back and filming more scenes, basically. He was recovering from that accident.
damn, I remember that.
I have a serious question. The Miss Piggy Kermit relationship or connection, is it healthy? Are they a good match or are they not a good match? What do you think, Leo?
Uh, Definitely an odd match. For, yeah. I wouldn't know, man. Like, I would say the relationship is maybe representative of a lot of relationships in some ways. Um, I mean, their date was awkward but also adorable at the same time when Steve Martin, I think he was the waiter, and but yeah, no, I when Miss Piggy left, I think she had to take a phone call or something. She had to leave. Oh man, that pain that Kermit was feeling at that time, that moment, I was like, oh man, I know how that feels. Like that one hit hard. I was like, oh, poor Kermit. And then when Miss Piggy tried to like talk to him again and they're in the car, it's like, oh, I miss you, Kermit. Kermit was like, I'm good. I was like, oh, you go, Kermit. But then, yeah, no, I would say it's pretty representative, like a lot of relationships. So maybe that's where Jim Henson got a lot of the theming.
Jade, what's your take on Kermit and Miss Piggy's relationship?
Oh God, so toxic. What's that? I agree with Leo in that it is very indicative of a lot of real relationships, which is why it is actually a socially redeeming movie in the sense that it's portraying very real things that are happening. It's not a simple packaged romance. Um, Miss Piggy way that's like way too fast, too soon, and we've all done it. So, that's not that out of the ordinary. But then she like yeah, she just like leaves him in the dust after they get out of that bind. She's just like, okay, gotta go, bye, and then it's on the side of the road, take me back. And then it's funny that scene where they pick her up again, she's hugging on him, and Kermit doesn't want her, but she's she's hugging on him against his like consent. Like he's like it's like a very non-consensual scene. And in the 70s, that's like the bar for consent was much different than it is now. It wasn't enthusiastic consent. It was just consent, you know. Um, so that yeah, it's just and also I want to be careful because it's not just Miss Piggy that's toxic. Like Kermit, he's so just like isn't willing to like talk to her about anything. He's like just acting aloof. He's got other stuff on his mind. He's not trying to process what's happening right now. he's letting it happen because he likes the attention, but he also doesn't know what he wants. So, yeah, there's a lot. It's normal.
I think it's Muppet Treasure Island. Part of the backstory of that one, or you find out as you watch that movie that they were supposed to get married, and Kermit left her on the altar, and they didn't actually get married.
Oh man, payback. No.
But there's also, I would say there's a line too in the movie,
So, I mean,
more on the
I guess,
redeeming.
yeah, if you don't want to spoil it, that's fine. Was it like kicks off in the Treasure Island theme, or
What? Say it again. Go ahead, Leo. Say it again.
oh, sorry, I think we cut out there. No, I was just asking, like, in Treasure, you said Treasure Island, like, does it kick off like in normal Muppet time, and then they'd start talking about Treasure Island lore, or does it just start in the pirate theming?
It starts pretty much on the pirate ship, and it almost like I
Okay.
don't know if I had seen that one, but I watched it right after the Muppet movie, and it felt kind of like a warm up for Dark Crystal. Like some of the pirate creatures are kind of hideous and grotesque and weird. So I got like a Dark Crystal vibe from some of those puppets. But yeah, it like you're like on the pirate ship, and it's like Kermit's already involved with the pirate world, and then somehow it's like this treasure map, and then some people are more misleading in their intentions, or you're not sure which side they're on. I think that one's from 96, 1996, Muppet Treasure Island. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool, and it's kind of really interesting to hear that that the creatures look similar to like the Dark Crystal ones. So those ones are creepy, and nightmare fuel for me personally. So, but it's kind of cool that, I mean, as an artist, and thinking about Jim Henson's process, yeah, you want to experiment and see what works, and see if it'll resonate, and it's really cool.
Speaking of memes, and we don't want to shy away from Labyrinth, another Jim Henson.
Yeah.
His genius is all over that one. But I like Labyrinth too. I think that one's an interest. It's not as dark as the Dark Crystal. So, what were you going to say, Jade, about Labyrinth?
Oh, I don't even. It's just such an artistic movie. It's like there's not a lot of dead space in that movie, which is what I like about it. Um, I'm all for pacing and telling a story, but like you're in a maze. Like something's got to happen at every turn, or else what are we doing? So, love that movie.
Did you get the references in the Muppet movie? Like, there's this like Casablanca reference during one of the Kermit and Miss Piggy scenes. Did you catch that?
Which one was that? I haven't seen Casablanca in years. I saw it like so many years, and I was like not a fan. So that's why I was.
It's like Kermit's wearing the raincoat, and he's like the Humphrey Bogart
Oh
character.
yeah, okay, yeah, the noir, yeah. I
Did you
do
catch it,
remember.
Leo? The Casablanca thing with Kermit and Miss Piggy, when Kermit's wearing the raincoat and they're having this kind of romantic scene.
Oh no, I didn't even catch that. No. Gosh, I bet if I watched this movie way more times, yeah, there's gonna be things I'm gonna catch each time. But no, I totally missed that one.
Yeah, now I
Um,
remember when they're sitting at the table. See, now I'm thinking of Casablanca. Yeah, that early scene. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The I mean, I guess it's true. They don't make movies like this anymore, and because of the budget, they would just use CGI, and it would be like a lot of digital stuff. Um, but there is like the art form of puppetry
mhm.
that, I think that's really what was Jim Henson's like intention, motivation, and he had a love for the the craft, the art form.
Yeah, I think like I was just thinking about this while you guys were talking about the Casablanca thing is I want to say that Jim Henson's company worked on Jurassic Park. And I just feel like some of the greatest movies like when I think about Jurassic Park, the I still my favorite one is the first one is because that T-Rex looks real. And the only reason why it looks real is because it was an actual like animatronic puppet. And even the T-Rexes today in, CGI ones, like they still, even years and years later, they still don't feel right. But like that puppet from the 90s, like still looks the best in my opinion. So there's something to be said about like a tangible puppet. It just feels like that thing or creature is actually in the same space as that human or whoever it's interacting with.
I watched for a contemporary example, maybe Lilo and Stitch, the recent live action
Oh,
movie for Lilo
yeah.
and Stitch, and I kind of wished it had puppets instead of like the humans acting with the CGI characters.
Yeah, because then the actors have to like make it up. They have to like pretend like something is there. That's a good point. Oh man, yeah, I saw that movie too, and I feel like if it was an actual little creature, oh, it would make a big difference. Did you see it, Jade?
No, I have it's my protest against reboots, but I really should definitely see it. Um, but I was just thinking about like just this drive in Hollywood of wanting everything to look as real as possible. And this argument like, oh, if it's a puppet, it's not going to look real. But then that just shows like utter disrespect for that art form. Like what if realism is not necessarily what we need to achieve all the
Hmm.
time? Um, I mean, not to bring up AI again, but there's this other
Hmm.
thing where they've been using AI to de-age actors um, instead of having a younger actor play that person because it's affecting the realism. It takes you out of the film because you know it's a different person. But then you run into problems of um, not having like a diversity of actors with different talents, and B, old people just move different than young people. So if you're trying to have Al Pacino be 30 years younger than he is, in like The Irishman, they did this, um, then it's just gonna look fake. So in trying to achieve realism, they're achieving fakeism. So, and maybe I mean maybe with CGI they might be doing that too, because it's like puppets may not look real, but they can look real. You know, like there's ways.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think in CGI world too, that some of the big companies are probably thinking like, oh, it's probably faster and they can probably make it cheaper and it has a lot to do with budget too, and time. They would rather, yes, and I don't mean to go back to AI, but they can make this thing in AI in like, minutes now, 3D models in minutes. Whereas, if you take a Jim Henson puppet, I don't know how long it takes, but it's probably longer than a few minutes, sadly.
As artists as you both are, like what would you tell the Hollywood, you know, studios regarding AI? What would be your advice or your thoughts on that as artists?
Hmm. Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on AI.
Me too. God, who goes first? Should we flip a coin?
Yeah, I don't know. You can go ahead, Jade, if you have an answer already.
I
Um,
mean, I don't think it's worth it to think about what I could tell them because you can't. I think a better question is what do we do now that this is taking over? Because everyone in Hollywood is going to be playing with AI in some way or another, whether it's de-aging or color correcting or I was in the writer's room for like an animated show that's like using it just to build the world. So like it's just taking models from the artist who is drawing the show and creating houses and storefronts and things that maybe don't necessarily need to be spent all this time doing. But then the problem with that is, like, are you losing a creative thing that would have happened had you took the time to sit down and draw the hospital or whatever? You know what I mean? So, um, I guess what I would say is to just AI will never invent a new message. I think that's what we need to remember is that there will never be anything new because it's only can be trained on the data that is has been received, and the only way you can get a new thing is through human experience. So if you're an artist trying to find new messages, you're not going to find them with AI. So, and
Yeah.
if you want to sacrifice, sorry, if you if you want to sacrifice certain aspects of your film, like say you don't want to color correct manually, that just means you don't care about finding a new discovery, and that's okay because it's just color correcting. What are we doing? So yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, my hope is it seems like AI is just there's no stopping it now. Um, so it's like how do we adapt to it? And I agree with Jade. It's like it'll only be as smart as what we teach it. Because like when we use AI, we literally train it. So we are the trainers. So it'll only know what we know. But that being said, it knows everything that everyone knows now. So it is really intelligent. So I do think that it's going to impact the art industry in a lot of ways. And so us artists, whether you're visual or in entertainment industry, we're going to have to know how to adapt to it and live with it and know how to use it even because you don't want to be left behind. Unfortunately, it's just I do hope that there's some sort of laws in place that get put in place because I just from a visual artist standpoint, it's going to be tough in the next few years. I don't know. There's a lot of layoffs happening, and I don't want to go too. We're talking about Muppets here. I don't want to go too sad here, but yeah, it's definitely going to impact our history as humans. Hopefully for the better. Hopefully as just a tool, but not to replace us. We'll see.
I can't help but think about the Spielberg movie AI,
Mm. What
which is
happens in that one?
it kind of straddles being a family friendly movie, but then it's also like it gets really dark and kind of violent.
Is that
Because
with Robin Williams?
the Jude Law character
Oh, Jalal.
is I think he winds up suffering a lot. It's the Haley Joe Osment, right? Isn't he in that AI? The
Look at that.
Spielberg AI? You remember it, I think, right, Jade?
I never saw it.
Oh wow.
I know. I know.
That one's a
This is
trip.
this is the episode of me being under a rock. This is the
But when all the AI stuff first started coming out, like what, 5 years ago or whatever, 4 years ago, I thought of that movie first as maybe how it could evolve, like, you know, that kind of a world or scenario.
well, how does it evolve? Spoil it.
Well, Leo, I'll let Leo's trying to, I think, see if he remembers seeing it. You're looking it up?
I'm looking it up, but I actually don't think I've seen this one.
Oh,
No,
wow.
I was thinking about a different robot movie with Robin
Bicentennial
Williams.
Man?
Maybe that
Oh,
one.
I saw that one. That one
Um,
did have Robin Williams, yeah.
but to answer your question, um, when I first heard about AI and I learned about his capabilities, I was like, oh, this is like Terminator
Oh,
or The Matrix.
or iRobot with Will Smith?
Yeah, that
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about Bicentennial Man. I think that one's actually
with
family
Blade.
friendly movie, and it does get into the laws and the ethical level of the topic. And then we can wrap up the AI topic for now. But what was your take on the Bicentennial Man movie, Leo?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. It's been a while. He wasn't he like a helper for the family?
He's like the kind of
Was it like
cook, and
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
like a
yeah.
maid. Yes.
I forget the story arc, but yeah, I do remember like he was just like more of a tool,
It
a
like
helper. He was a helper. Yeah.
I'll just say briefly, it gets deep in that eventually, towards the probably second half of the movie, later on in the film, he's going to he wants to get married to a human woman.
Yeah.
Oh,
You remember Jade, right?
Yeah, I do remember this movie very well.
So it really gets into the weeds and gets deep with like the legality of him being able to marry a human person. Yeah,
Yeah.
be considered like
I guess, I
what you
guess
call
her
it?
had a similar storyline.
Her, that's another one,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think with Bicentennial Man and her and movies with that kind of trope, it it's a little too optimistic. I mean, maybe I'm just a pessimist or I don't. I think we're cooked. We're cooked. Like we are. It's not looking. We're. This is an existential threat, but that's just my assessment of the situation. Like I don't think we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna have these little innocent relationships with robots that we're gonna question the ethics of because we're not even gonna know what truth is. We're not even gonna know if the person we're talking to is a robot in a lot of ways.
oh,
So
that's a good point.
so there's
Um,
I
mhm.
mean it's happening already. It's not even when this happens. It's happening. Like
And if you can, and I don't know if you either of you like consider this as AI or just kind of maybe kind of related in some way, but just even looking at our own phones, like a social feed, or you know, in a weird way, we're as humans becoming trained also by the algorithm that's shown to us. I know plenty of people who believe a certain thing now just because of like what they see on Instagram, and we're who's training who? Like we're believing everything that we see, and it's kind of scary. And it depends on the algorithm that you get. And I think we've been we've been getting trained by the algorithm for a while now.
well, we're the product, right? On
Yeah.
social media and stuff. We're not actually consuming the social media like we think we are. We're being sold
Yes.
ad companies and this, that, and the other. Our data is being sold. Um, it's, it's that's the scary thing. It's like if you write a story that's from a human perspective, um, that's not AI. Once you publish that, it's going to get snatched up by AI and reproduced because I don't think regulations can trace what a model learns. Like I think they're inventing AIs that can figure it out. So it'll be like a robo battle. No, but I don't know. Yeah.
But if we go to a comedy show and somebody gets on the stage, it'll be a while before it's an AI or a hologram on the stage, right?
Uh,
I don't know,
I
man.
don't
I
know about a
think
while.
that might be close now. Actually, I want to ask you, Jeff, like, how do you see AI in the film industry? Like, are you worried about it? Like, what's your take on that? What do you
Well,
think?
I've always made independent stuff, so I've never felt like I was part of
Okay.
the industry per se, but I know I've heard stories of like people that I went to like film school with, and they're having to reevaluate their career or the specialty that they focused on.
Well,
Because yeah, I think already it is affecting and impacting, people's jobs. So I think people are just they're trying to start to adapt now and or just find a different career, you know. It's
yeah,
rough.
that's
What,
rough.
what would Jim Henson think? Maybe he would
Oh,
be shocked too.
yeah. Do either of you know what's his name? I forgot his first name. Miyazaki. He does a lot of the Studio Ghibli
Oh yeah,
Yes.
movies.
yeah.
I watched this maybe both seen it. There's a documentary that came out a few years ago, more than a few years ago, like 10 years ago or something. Anyway, it was like the infancy of like AI was happening and AI and animation. And there was this meeting at his studio, and these guys brought and showed like where they're at with their technology and how AI can make a movie. And it was like really scary. Like it was a proof of concept of like a creature like moving around. It just looked terrifying. And I just remember Miyazaki just I hated it. You're talking about Jim Henson, but
Yeah.
I just was thinking of, another like legendary artist. Oh, he was appalled. He like I think he just wanted to throw up at that moment. He was like, "Why would you do this? This is a disgrace to human." Yeah, I think he literally said, "This is a disgrace to humanity," was his words. And the people who went there looked terrified. They're like, "Oh, this was a mistake."
I feel like eventually, if, say, more than 75% of the movie is AI, maybe they'll make genres of like these are the AI created movies, and then you have like the other movies that are still doing like puppetry with people operating the puppets or wearing costumes.
They already have an AI film festival.
Really?
Yeah, I think like Harmony Korine was like one of the judges on like the last one and like some other people. And I don't think it's necessarily the whole movie has to be AI, but like
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, Jeff. I think also like yeah, like Jeff, what you were saying, like there's gonna be some that are AI, some that aren't, but like the ones that are made by humans might take on a new novelty, and maybe indie filmmakers will have a kind of a little renaissance.
That's a good point.
There was a movement in the mid 90s called Dogma 95, and it was an attempt to like inspire filmmakers to use like real objects, and they couldn't really bring in stuff. Like you'd have to just use like whatever books are on your bookshelf or the lighting that you have in the
Mm.
space. And that was like really to try to get people to like a back to kind of the infancy of cinema. So maybe there will be similar trends or movements like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And from a visual art standpoint too, like maybe there will be another renaissance of oil painting. Um, and more value is put on because as time goes on, it'll become rarer and rarer. You mentioned like people starting to rethink their careers and think about different ways but as if that happens, there's going to be less and less artists then, and that means maybe higher value on, your oil paintings. That'd be very interesting to see that.
I hope people do more like street performing. Like maybe
Mm.
that'll come back.
Yeah,
That'll be like a renaissance type of thing. Just seeing people in a park doing a play or some kind of performance, puppetry, little
yeah,
like, Jim Henson inspired things just outside.
yeah. I do too. Unfortunately, so much of live performance, not like street performance, but like live performance is like now a rich man's sport because partially having to do with ticket scalping and that being unavoidable, but like uh, just the demand is high now because people are craving that realness.
And it's kind of maybe it's parallel, like from my own memory growing up, there was like the way Napster impacted the music industry. You could download whatever album or
Yeah.
whatever you wanted through Napster. So I guess my point is with this, it does go back to the audience. Like, what are people willing to pay for like a Muppet movie inspired project that has like real puppets and people operating the puppets or wearing the costumes and actually pay for that? I mean, that's, I think, maybe another question with the arts that continues to be relevant.
I, I think there's a third scenario that is maybe a little dim, I don't want to say it's dark, but it's dim. But if if AI can do something very simple, like paint a picture in 2 minutes, but then you have an oil painter who takes several days, his art's not going to be as valuable because he would have been able to do that in minutes. And the idea is that AI is supposed to free, this is way more optimistic than I actually believe, but free our minds so that we can come up with higher order creative thinking. Of course, I don't think that's going to actually happen because I think computers are going to evolve way faster than we are. They already are. But that's the kind of the optimist. Like now we have more time to come up with these new ideas instead of shading for hours, you know. So
I'll tell you a situation where I actually used ChatGPT and it actually f didn't feel scary. It felt more helpful. Like this is one of the occasions where it actually felt helpful. I had just like a few ingredients in my refrigerator, and I was like, I wonder what I can make with this. So I decided to do an experiment. Like, hey, Chat GPT, I got some carrots, I got some tomatoes, I got what else did I have? I think I had a an old piece of meat or something. What can I do with this? Oh, and I have a Dutch oven. Give me a recipe. And he gave me some options like, hey, this is pretty neat. So it did save me time and like me having to Google it myself. I probably could have figured it out myself, but it probably saved me, 30 minutes of research. It's like, huh, that's 30 minutes faster of me making dinner. Like that was actually kind of neat. Um, but that's like the most lightweight, casual situation. I know people are using AI for much more intensive situations.
can I give you a word of caution with that? AIs hallucinate all the time, especially on recipes.
Oh.
So
Oh, so you're saying like it could have given me like a really, really like
yeah,
terrible. Okay.
I'm just saying if you're gonna cook meat, just be careful with AI. But I
Oh.
used to train the chatbots at the day job, so I but yeah, if you Google something, tell it to send you a link. Just say, give me links.
Oh, that's a good okay. Just to make sure that like I am cooking it at the right temperature and not like a at
Yeah,
like a risky temp. Okay. All right, that's a good.
don't
Okay.
don't follow AI.
Okay, okay.
The back to the Muppet movie.
Yeah.
Um, try to end on some lighter notes. I mean, the movie it gets into like friendship. The idea of friendship is family, sharing good times with people you care about. Um, and they're all kind of weird and quirky, but they all somehow get along. Maybe that's a lesson that we should try to remember to just get along with each other and some peace in the world.
Yeah. Wasn't that Kermit's goal actually from the very beginning? He wanted to go to Hollywood to make people happy,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
So I think he accomplished that even to this day. Yeah. We can hang our hat on that. Oh, he can hang his hat on that. His
Oh
little
yeah.
frog hat.
Oh yeah. Um, I know they're still working on more ideas for Muppet movies, and I think the last Christmas special that they actually made was the Lady Gaga Holiday Spectacular. And I will say that one is really worth seeing, especially for her duet with Elton John. It'll like make you cry. Like they're both playing piano and then they're singing like one of his songs and they already knew each other before it, so they have this kind of rapport that's like familiar and comfortable. It's a really
I-
beautiful scene.
I've seen that. It's so good.
You've seen it. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that one I think is the most recent that they made that was like a new Christmas special.
yeah.
Is this easily found on the internet? Like
You
on
can
is it
find it,
on
yeah, if you look for Lady Gaga
Lady
Muppet
Gaga?
Holiday Spectacular. This is
Okay.
like the actual title, I think.
I would like to see that. Cool.
or I can send it to you.
Okay. There you go.
But yeah, I appreciate both of you keeping it real as artists, keeping it honest, keeping it real. I think Jim Henson would want it that way too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. No, yeah, thanks for, having this and suggesting to watch the Muppets. I think it was definitely a picker upper. Like it definitely made me laugh a few times. It definitely made my day. It's so corny. It made me happier.
I know what you mean. No,
It really did.
yeah.
So thanks. Thank you.
I think that's the enduring quality, and I mean, we could go on for hours, like in a complimentary way or praising, but I mean, the Muppets are an American treasure,
Yeah.
and I feel like over time they'll just be more appreciated as the years go on. Jade,
Or
do you have
or
anything?
depreciated by AI. We'll find out.
Possibly, but I don't know. It'd be hard to match. I don't know what my favorite of the films are. I mean, this one, Muppet Movie is pretty good, and Great Muppet Capers definitely an awesome one. But like they're hard to top. I don't know. I don't know if it could ever top those films.
Yeah. Oh, I better not say anymore because we're at the end. There's so much. It's not that it'll top the films, it's that it will dumb us down. We won't know what's still good. Okay, I'm done.
Have both of you seen the one from the 2000s with Jason Segel and Amy Adams?
I
I would
I've
suggest watching
seen
that.
the more recent ones. Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Did you like it?
I honestly still like the older ones more.
Okay.
But I'm glad they still make them. I think
Hmm.
it is good to like keep it going. Um, did you see the recent ones, Jade, like from 2011 or any of
No,
those?
did not. I was brooding in high school and not paying attention to the nothing.
But yeah, I think they're always good for a laugh. So anybody hearing this, if you need a laugh, go find the Muppet Show or the movies, and try to give yourself a break from other things going on with your own life or outside. If you can have a
Yeah.
little reprieve, you
Turn,
deserve
turn, turn off the news.
Yeah,
Watch some Muppets.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, anything else before we go?
Thanks for
Nothing.
having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Thanks.
Jade, I always ask you this. I mean, do you have any
Okay.
appearances coming up? Any events?
Oh
Anything
boy.
worth mentioning?
Worth mentioning, I'm going to be in Santa Rosa at Barrel Proof Lounge this Friday at 8. So if any Santa Rosans are tuning in, come say hi.
Cool.
Nice.
Leo, do you have any children's books on deck, or you want to say anything about that?
I do, although I'm not quite sure if I'm allowed to say yet. So once it does come out, I'll let you know. And yeah, let's just say it's sports related. It's a children's book about sports. Yeah,
Cool. I know you previously did children's books on the Bee Gees, right?
I did. Yeah.
And there's one, I think I still have it, the Goodnight Skateboarder.
Yeah. Good Night Skateboard. Yeah, so I guess I could say that the next book I'm doing is with Sports Illustrated again, and it's a different sport other than skateboarding. So,
Here it is. This is my copy of Goodnight
Yeah.
Skateboard.
yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for supporting, man.
I'm going to put links in the description of the video if
Is,
anybody.
is that like a Goodnight Moon knockoff?
I think so. I think it is. Well, I mean the wordplay of the title is. I mean
Yeah.
that's the only thing that's close to
Okay.
the actual Goodnight Moon. I think yeah, the Goodnight series has exploded, and I'm not quite sure, and I could be wrong on this, but I think there is actually affiliation between the company that worked with Sports Illustrated and the Goodnight Moon people. So I don't think it's a complete knockoff, maybe just a little bit.
Cool. I'll put, if you both want to send me like a link that I could put in the description of the video, if people really want to look at your stuff, they can just click the link in the description of the video and check more of your work out.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Thanks,
want to
Jeff.
thank everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, working on some more. Maybe we'll do Muppet Treasure Island one day, or
Oh,
some more like nostalgic favorites.
Keeping
Um,
me wholesome.
I'm on the fence about doing something like Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield from 1992, but it's technically PG-13, but it's a harder PG-13.
Stay innocent, Jeff. Don't do
Thanks, Mom. I mean, but no, I appreciate, talking about this stuff and trying to, um, give people maybe some family friendly options if they want to watch something with the whole family. I would say the Muppet movie is a good place to start. And it's a comedy. So I'll leave it at that. Anyway, I'll sign off for now. And thank you very much for your time, both of you. And hope you have a good rest of the week and some fun things for the weekend. Jade's going to be in Santa Rosa on Friday, and Leo's working on another book. So, you know, check out some of that stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
it.
Until next
Yeah.
time.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. Nice to
Bye.
meet you, Jade. Take
You
care.
too, Leo. Okay,
See ya.
bye, everyone.
See ya.
Good night.